Have you joined the Happily Ever After Club?
Happily Ever After Club?
हाँ, Happily Ever After Club. Membership is automatic once you buy your dream home from Amit Inamdar. He is both real estate and mortgage broker. One stop, no need to shop.
Oh, Amit Inamdar from Own Sweet Home.
Yes, that's Amit from OWN Own Sweet Home. Call him today, 510-364-6686. Again, 510-364-6686. Or visit ownsweethome.net. That is OWNOwnSweetHome.net. DRE number 0135552 and MLS 23657.
वेलकम दोस्तों, मैं हूं हरलीन और येट अनदर एक्साइटिंग शो में मैं आपका स्वागत करती हूं. यस, दिस इज द पावर आवर विद अमित इनामदार. इस शो में हम आपके साथ बहुत सारी बातें शेयर करते हैं और आपके जो भी व्यूज हैं आप हमें दे सकते हैं बाय कॉलिंग 5107701550. अगर आपको कोई भी इंफॉर्मेशन चाहिए रिगार्डिंग बाइंग और सेलिंग होम्स, ऑल यू हैव टू डू इज विजिट द वेबसाइट विच इज ownsweethome.net. That is, you want to own a very sweet home. That's all you have to remember. So ownsweethome.net is the website to go to and you'll have all the information there. अगर आपको उनको directly contact करना है अमित को, आप उन्हें call कर सकते हैं at 510-364-6686. We are going to have a jam-packed day today because we're going to talk about information on school districts and their impact on purchase decisions. We always welcome you to call us. जैसे कि मैंने आपको नंबर दिया 510-770-1550 and you can ask any question. Or else if you think your question cannot be answered on the show, you can just go to ownsweethome.net, click on the radio show tab and submit your question. We will surely include that in the show today. So let's start off by welcoming Amit. Amit, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you, Harleen. It's been a long weekend last week, and everybody kind of took a break, and we had to rerun one of the shows. So but today we have a fresh new topic about importance of schools in buying decisions. So hello, friends. Own Sweet Home, and welcome to my show, Power Hour with Amit Inamdar. One of the most talking points in deciding a home price with sellers or narrowing down the neighborhoods with buyers is the schools. Today, we will focus on the issues such as private versus public schools. Should you always buy in the best school district? What do the API scores for the schools really mean? And when should one focus on the schools? How do the schools affect the prices of the homes? And of course, any other questions that you may have. So where does one start? And that's always a question as to how do you decide on the schools. Of course, if you want a one-on-one consultation, you can start with me. However, for specific answers, it really starts with you. What is your family situation today? Are you single, just married, no kids, married with kids, who are about to go to school? How many kids do you have? If two, do both of them need to go to school in next 5 to 7 years? Do you look for good elementary school, or also do you want all schools to be good? And most importantly, how do you define a good school? And if you think good schools are for everyone, think again, because think about the people looking for retirement. Do they really care about the schools?
Absolutely. I think बहुत सारे questions हैं पूछने के लिए, तो I don't even know where to start. How do you think one should actually be thinking about this topic?
Right. Yes, Harleen. Yes, unless you know your own situation, it's very difficult to know the answers. You know, typically homeowners stay in their homes for 5 to 7 years. And people may ask, why 5 to 7 years? I mean, when we buy homes in India, we are there for 5 to 7 generations, you know. And here you're only owning it for 5 to 7 years. But look at what happens here. Once the kid is born, it takes around 5 to 7 years for the kid to start school. From KG to K6 or K5, depending on the areas you are in, it's about 5 to 7 years. And then middle school and high school also takes around 6 to 7 years. So I mean, you are typically going to be in the school about that time, and knowing that, I mean, you should select your school.
Got it. But, just going by basic reference, wouldn't you just buy a school in good district? I mean, why would you not do that, in other words?
Okay. At first, it may seem like, we want everything to be great. And I know like a lot of people think like a Sumit Mixi, right? Sumit Mixi does lot of things. One Mixi does everything. Okay. And you come here and you have a coffee grinder, you have a blender, and you have a mixer and all these things. So look at it from the standpoint of what you need today and where you are going to get most return for your money. So if you look at your affordability and your desires are trying to own the home in the best school districts all around, but your affordability cannot get you there, then you have to kind of look back and say, what do I really need for next 5 to 7 years? And just to give you an example, if you look at a 1,000 square feet home that is 40 to 60 years old in Cupertino, it costing almost $1.2 million in Cupertino today.
Right.
Okay. If you go to Mission, it's just under $1 million. And if you just move away from these high, all good school areas and go a little bit further out where there is a good elementary school and that's all you need, you will actually pay for the home around $200K to $400K less in the home purchase price.
Got it. But, I understand about saving money. But, instead of Sumit, say mixer grinder, wouldn't you just like to purchase something like a KitchenAid all-in-one kind of a thing? Because you'll probably stay in those homes for a longer time. Or even if you don't plan to stay in those homes, you might just kind of, rent it out later. And rental, when it comes to, lots of these homes would be very different. So how do you kind of go about these neighborhoods, Wala Chakkar?
Yeah. I mean, good schools typically mean good neighborhoods because everybody is studious and things like that. But then there are neighborhoods that are good and the elementary schools are also good, So it's not like you are really compromising the neighborhood when you kind of look for a good elementary school. Okay. So if you look at the state of California, for example, state of California says API score, which is a around 800 plus, which is academic performance index. It's a good school. Mm-hmm. If you talk to some of your friends, especially the people who live in Cupertino and Mission, they will say, 950 and above is a good school district. Mm-hmm. Okay. But you really need to figure out what's really good from the standpoint of this API score. There are tons of schools. For example, Fremont. Fremont has around 11 schools that have scores above 900. But if you come down to 850, suddenly you have like 17 different schools which are above 850. And then a lot of neighborhoods open up for you. And what really matters is not just the academic performance index. It's about what kind of knowledge your kid is going to get. Okay, how good the school really is, and that depends on the student to teacher ratio. Okay, the schools with maybe score of 850 to 900 range may have a student to teacher ratio of around 20, so 20 students per teacher, and the great schools like Mission or Cupertino may have 30 kids per teacher. And now you got to see how fast your kid can absorb the information that is given to you, because if you look at state of California, the curriculum is the same for all the schools for a specific grade.
Okay.
So it doesn't change just because you're in a good school or a average school from that matter. Okay.
Got it. तो एक question बड़े दिमाग में आता है कि lots of people actually say that in these areas like say Fremont, it's predominantly it's dominated by Indians. So कहेंगे कि अरे Indians यहाँ रहते हैं, वो बच्चों को push करते हैं पढ़ाई करने के लिए, and so the schools are really nice. So is that a perception that because it's completely an Indian community? Would you say that, or it's more like it's just to do with the school district overall?
Of course, I mean the parents have a big role to play. Mm-hmm. Whether it's Indians, Chinese, or Caucasians, I mean, it really doesn't matter. I mean, the whole thing is about how much participation parents are showing in the kids' education. And if they're showing a lot of participation, of course, the kids are going to do well. if the parents don't care, the kids won't care either. And so the parenting habits, of course, translate into the school scores and other things. And I'll tell you, I mean, if you go to like school like Mission San Jose, the parents have to do a lot of work to make sure their kids are on the top of things and they are getting the time they need to study on a regular basis. So yes, I mean, it's a lot dependent on your family,
right?
Okay, and not just the teachers as such.
Got it. तो it's very confusing क्योंकि इतने सारे decisions होते हैं लेने के लिए कि नहीं भैया हमने ये भी चीजें सोचनी है, हमने लोन भी सोचना है. So school district kind of takes a back seat in some cases, and probably a lot of information is not there. So what are the kind of resources that one has in order to get information about these schools?
Right. One of the websites that immediately comes to mind is greatschools.net, and it's one of the websites I initially started with.
Okay.
And I will actually look at that website, search the schools, and look at the API scores and things like that. But then I said, why not just go to the source? And the source is basically the California Department of Education website. And it lists the API scores for each school and also has a distribution of these scores among various ethnicities. It tells you how the scores have improved from year before to this year. Okay. However, to use this site, you must know the names of the schools. So what I have done on my website, ownsweethome.net, if you go to the top link called schools, I've simplified the process. So you will click on the schools link, you will go to that particular page, and depending on the school district you are in, whether you are in Fremont Unified School Districts or Fremont Union School District in Cupertino or Milpitas Unified School District, you will actually click on the link, and all you have to do is once you are on that new page, enter the address of the property, and that address will tell you which schools that particular property is associated with. Now, one thing to once you know which address the property is associated with, the next thing you are going to do is copy that name and put it into the California Department of Education website. And I also have a link for that on my website.
So it's all very simple. It's all
everything is at one location.
Okay.
And you put it in and it goes to that particular website, and then you have to select for that particular school the proper school district, because if you put a name like Kennedy, the Kennedy school names are like almost everywhere. And so you have to kind of use the drop down menu to make sure that's either Cupertino School District or Fremont School District or Sunnyvale School District, and then go to the next page, and it actually shows you the API scores for this year and the previous year. And every September, October timeframe, the new API scores get put in, and so you will know how the students are performing in that particular school district. One of the things I like to also see there is they actually break down all the scores based on the ethnicity, so you know how well different ethnicities are performing in that particular school district.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And that's a very interesting information, and one can actually look at that and see which schools really suits their needs from that standpoint.
Absolutely. तो जितने भी हमारे listeners हैं, आज हम एक बहुत ही important topic पे discussion कर रहे हैं. That is the school districts. When you actually buying a property, school districts बहुत ही important decision making point हो जाता है. So in case you have any calls or any questions, you can just give us a call at 510-770-1550. We're getting a call. Let's take that first call. Hello, you're on air.
Yes, good evening to you and the gentleman, real estate broker.
Amit, how are you?
If I need to buy a property in Mountain House, those schools are good in that area?
You're kind of putting me on the stand. I mean, all you have to do is, again, go to my website, ownsweethome.net, and look for the school districts and look for the school district locator. And once you figure out which schools are in there, just input the name of the school in the California Department of Education's website, and you will know whether the school's API scores are. Typically, if the API score is 800 and above, you're going to have the good schools. Now, when you're thinking about buying a house in Mountain House, you also want to think some other things, because that's the area kind of farther away from the Bay Area. And that area goes up in valuation maybe late in the game, and it comes down pretty fast when the markets kind of slow down. So you're going to have a lot of risk associated with buying a house in Mountain House. There is no local economy, and home prices are always better where the local economy is good. Mountain House, you can term it as a bedroom community.
I see. Because a lot of people from Fremont, they are coming to Mountain House and buying properties because the property price is a little bit less expensive than Fremont, and schools are good. That's what I heard. I'm not sure.
I see.
And the other thing is what you call it, family people, they are coming there. So I don't know. That's what I thought maybe is good area. That's where the people from Fremont are coming.
I haven't seen that much of a transition from Fremont to Mountain House among my clientele. But yes, I mean, affordability becomes an issue for a lot of people, and they will actually choose place like Mountain House where you get a lot more for your money, and
Right.
that may be a good thing for certain people. But at the same time, remember, people also bought homes in Mountain House for $700K, and the same property was selling for $250K in the 2009-10 downturn. Now the prices have gone up a bit, so there is a risk involved anytime you buy in a neighborhood that doesn't have a local economy. So people are just buying there as a bedroom community. That means you go there to sleep, and you work in the Bay Area. Okay, and if you looked at the traffic recently, because of the lot of homes are getting built in Dublin, 580 intersection there, and because of that, the traffic has been getting backed up all the way to Fremont. I mean, I see my Washington Boulevard here, which is connect to 680, like completely crowded, because you just can't get on 680, because with these new thousands of homes, the traffic on the street has increased. So now if you live in Mountain House actually, and want to work in Bay Area, you're going to spend hour and a half commuting each way, and that's 3 hours a day. So are you going to live for the house or going to live in the house?
Actually, I'm not commuting. I will be, just my own business doing it from the house. I'm not commuting.
Okay, so that works out really well for you from that standpoint. I mean, if you have a business that can be worked remotely, hey, Mountain House, no place like Mountain House, right?
Right.
What's your name?
And, Mo.
Mo. Okay, Mo. Anything else?
Larry Curly, Mo.
I see.
Got it.
Yeah, that's funny.
Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you again for calling, Mo.
But do you handle in Mountain House? Are you active in that area?
I see. The thing is, I personally haven't gone that far to sell the homes. Okay. However, I mean, if you need some information specifically about the areas, I mean, I have the tools to kind of give you the information about Mountain House.
Okay, and I have your number. I will call you.
Okay, Mo. Look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, जितने भी हमारे लिसनर्स हैं, अगर आपके पास कोई क्वेश्चन है, आप हमें कॉल कर सकते हैं at 510-770-1550. Ask your questions and they'll certainly be answered during the show. But if by any chance we are unable to answer, all your questions and answers will be there on ownsweethome.net. काफी सारी इंफॉर्मेशन इस वेबसाइट पे है. अगर आपको कोई पर्टिकुलर स्कूल डिस्ट्रिक्ट के बारे पता करना है, आप हमेशा उस वेबसाइट को विजिट कर सकते हैं. लेट्स टेक द नेक्स्ट कॉल. हेलो, you're on air.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, this is Amit, Own Sweet Home. How can I help?
Oh, hi, Amit. Now that you told me, you were talking about the traffic going towards Dublin and that area, I know a lot of people from Fremont did move to San Ramon. What's your thought about that? I mean, in terms of San Ramon real estate, San Ramon, Dublin, Pleasanton, specifically San Ramon, because I know the school district is really good.
Yes.
What's your thought on that area?
Absolutely. What's your name again?
I think she's driving, so she would
I
like to
see.
know the
Okay.
answer.
So anyway, let's answer her question.
Sure.
The San Ramon, Pleasant, and Dublin area sold a lot of homes in that area. I mean, my clients love the area. Number one, the one of the things I do have to tell about San Ramon is areas like Windermere and Gale Ranch. They have a higher than normal property tax, and people may not look at that when they are trying to buy the home there, but later on realize that rest of the California is paying 1.25% property tax and you are paying 1.75% property tax. There's another argument that I hear from buyers in that area that say, oh, Gale Ranch has only 1.4% property tax, but Gale Ranch, every home has an HOA. So if you actually calculate this after tax and before tax benefits and things like that, everything comes out to be the same. So in general, you are going to pay more. And the reason for that being when the builders build homes in San Ramon area, they actually created a big community, which is very nice. I mean, I like it personally. And they created the schools, they created the roads, the trails, and everything. And because of that, people love the area. But they did not get the funding from the state to kind of make this thing happen, or the county. So
Okay.
what they did, they actually raised the money by issuing a bond. And when you're paying these higher property taxes, you are actually making the payments for the interest on the bond. Okay, and they will try to continue. Now, San Ramon schools are good. Okay, but at the same time, you have to see what's the history of that goodness. Okay, if you look at the good schools in Cupertino or Mission, there's a history of many years. San Ramon schools are brand new. Of course, they are great. I'm not saying they are not great, but another point to kind of look at that is how long they've been great. How many colleges actually recognizing those schools as great schools, or they have a history of these students coming in to do things. And the new communities in Dublin, I mean, I have few clients move into there, and they don't have higher property taxes.
Right.
So that's the another good thing. And anytime you buy a home in a community that is brand new, the prices are close to $1 million. And when the people who can afford it are basically a well-paid people, well-employed people, intelligent people, their kids are intelligent, of course the schools are going to be good from that standpoint, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Okay.
तो जितने भी हमारे लिसनर्स हैं, अगर आपके पास भी कोई क्वेश्चन है, आप हमें कॉल कर सकते हैं 5107701550. आज हम काफी डाइवर्स जगहों के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, एंड ऑफ कोर्स वी आर फोकसिंग आवर अटेंशन ऑन स्कूल डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स. लेट्स टेक द नेक्स्ट कॉल. अमित, हेलो, you're on air.
Hi, my name is Ravi.
Hi Ravi, how are you? Own Sweet Home, how can I help?
Yeah, I have a question about the Ponderosa School in particular, but in general, I have a question. Like, people tell me a lot that, if you buy a house in a very good school district, you're going to pay a premium. And then even after that, some people send their schools to private school. And even if they send it to public school, there's like for school cost, like almost like $500 to $600 for after the school care. So I want to get your thoughts, and if both parents are working, what do you think?
Okay, so if you live in a decent neighborhood and decide to send your kids to a private school, you're going to pay around $1,000 to $1,500 just for the private schools. Then you're going to pay around, whatever you said, around $600 for after school care and all that. Okay, that translates into around $200 to $400K in the home price. Okay, so the private schools are good, equally good as public schools and vice versa, but it all depends on what you can afford, because when you're going to private school, you're using your discretionary income, the income that you're spending on like movies, entertainment, dinners and things like that on schools, and you're getting the same level of education you'll get in a public school. So might as well buy a home in a great public school area where the education quality is equal, and have your home appreciate in future. Now the benefit of this appreciation, Ravi, is when your kids are going to go to college, that appreciation is going to pay for the college education also. Okay, so from that standpoint, always buying in a good neighborhoods and good school districts becomes a priority for many buyers.
Okay. And so, and you're saying like 800 plus API score normally are considered good school district?
That's how the state of California defines 800 plus schools as good school district. They have a mission to get every school above that range. And but typically, if you are 850 and above, rest assured you are getting your kid into a good school district and a decent neighborhood.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Great.
Thanks,
Thank you
Ravi.
so much, Ravi. मुझे लग रहा है कि बच्चे पैदा करना इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट एंड ऊपर से उनको पढ़ाना और ऑल ऑफ दैट इज इवन मोर डिफिकल्ट एंड यू थॉट होम बाइंग डिसीजन में ये सब आएगा नहीं बट ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है टू टेक ओवर दैट सो लेट्स टेक द लास्ट क्वेश्चन मेरे पास बहुत सारे लिस्ट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस हैं बट when you are buying a house or a condo, whatever, in a good school district with all schools are good, which is elementary, middle and high school, do you actually pick and choose कि नहीं elementary अच्छा होना चाहिए या high अच्छा होना चाहिए or it has to be a combination of all three of them? How do you kind of choose that?
Right. So I always say you make a decision, any decision in your life based on your today's situation. If your today's situation says I'm working at a company making X amount of money and I can afford a say 600 or 700k home, then just buy based on that. And even if you say I can afford up to like $1.5 million home, I would still say just look at your needs today. Do you really need to go to the best school? It's because you are going to pay that mortgage for next 7 to 10 years when you really don't need that school district.
Absolutely.
Okay. I recently had a situation where one of my clients was advising them to buy a 750k home in Fremont, and they chose to buy instead a $1.1 million home when their kid was only 6 months old.
Okay.
And now the kid is of course going to school. This was almost 8 years ago. Okay. And so she calls me and says, hey Amit, we bought this home with a 5% down because that time all the loans were available. Mortgage payments are pretty huge and all that, and the kid is not really kind of getting the level of education she expected to get from these schools because of the student to teacher ratios and everything, and she wants to sell and move to another neighborhood, maybe send the kid to the private school. Now at that time I was advising her to buy a 750k home, right? I mean, it's anytime I sell a less priced home, I make less commission, so I'm not thinking about me when I'm giving you the advice. I'm really thinking about you and your family situation. And look at all the savings they missed because the home prices are just back to where she bought it at today.
Absolutely.
Okay. So it's not like the home price has gone up or something because of the downturn in the marketplace.
Got it. That's very sweet of you to actually give a courageous kind of a help to them. Ki, it's okay if you want to spend more, you can. But your advice was, going for a lesser price. Any final thoughts? Any parting thoughts, Amit, on this topic, which is very, very, interesting. I'm sure lots of questions are there.
Absolutely, many of you have called, and thank you for that. And I welcome you to call me back on my regular line 510-364-6686. You can always look up my number on Google and go to my website and you will know ways to find me. So what I would say is anytime you want to make a decision, make sure your family needs and wants are understood by a third party who can look at them like myself from up close and from a distance and try to give you a non-biased advice. So you can make a decision based on that advice. It's not that you have to take that, but at least you will get advice that will be not biased based on anything else.
Absolutely. Okay? Thank you so much, Amit. And jitne bhi hamare listeners hain, if you have any questions, you can reach Amit directly at 510-364-6686. The website is ownsweethome.net. And अगर आपको लगता है कि नहीं, अगर आपको ये चीजें नहीं याद रह रही, all you have to do is write Amit Inamdar on Google and you'll have every information there in front of you. So that's very, very simple. Own sweet home, जैसे आपको own करना है एक sweet home, that's what is important. And this is what the show is all about. We give you a power pack performance in half an hour and answer all your questions as well. तो सुनते रहिए रेडियो जिंदगी, बहुत सारे और प्रोग्राम्स आ रहे हैं. इनफैक्ट अब ये वाला प्रोग्राम है जिसमें आप काफी सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन ले रहे थे, दैट्स अनफॉर्चुनेटली कम टू एन एंड, बट वी विल बी बैक एट 4 o'clock ऑन फ्राइडे नेक्स्ट वीक. सुनते रहिए और खुद से कहिए जिए जा.
Own sweet home, own sweet home. I dream of my own sweet home. Right here, right now, Amit Inamdar will show you how. Call Amit and you are set. Or just visit ownsweethome.net.
DRE license number 013555522 and NMLS number 236574.